Wasn't.
Hate to bring that up, but I missed you.
You know, Tuesday was my 1 year anniversary since my surgery.
Really?
So yeah, so I had that
Wow.
anniversary,
Wow.
but I couldn't be with you on our first anniversary.
I know, but today is our second anniversary of the
I
show.
know it. I know.
It seems like it's been a very quick 2 years.
It has.
You know, I was talking to Bonnie the other day, and she said, you know, it's time to renew your home repairs and solutions contract. And I said, oh, okay, well, we'll do that, and you know, I'll decide if I like it or not.
Yeah.
I'll do it one more year just to make sure
Just
that
to
you
make
know
sure.
I like it and
Yeah.
it's working for us and it's a good thing to do. So yeah,
Yeah.
but it just came around so fast. I
Oh,
mean,
I
it was
know
just like all of a sudden, boom, 2 years.
Wow. Here we are, 2 years later. Yeah, it's incredible.
And it's
So-
been so much fun.
It has. Since we got Bonnie in here.
We do have Bonnie in here.
I've got to tell this little story since I didn't get to last year, and you know, a little over 2 years ago now, I get a phone call, and it's Bonnie Bell, and now I hadn't seen Bonnie for a few years because it'd been like at that time I think about 8 years since I had done the program for Herman Lumber. So I get this phone call, and Bonnie's like, Can you come over to the station? I need to talk to you. And I'm like, sure, I'll come over. So I did. I came over and we sat and talked. She's like, we're thinking about bringing back the home repair show. I'm like, oh, that's great. Would you be interested in possibly doing the show again? And she's like, I have a great, sponsor or host of the show. And I'm like, well, I'll talk to you about it. You know, it's
Sure.
kind of interesting. I always enjoyed doing it. So she set up a lunch meeting. We met at McAllister's. I even
Yes,
remember
we
the place
did.
where we went.
Yes, we did.
And we just hit it off, you know.
Yeah,
and I
we
joke
did.
about us being like the Buck and Roy or Lester and Earl of the Ozarks, but really we hit it off. We had a great lunch, and 2 weeks later, bam,
We were on the
on the
show.
air.
I feel like
Thanks
a
to Bonnie.
Yenta.
You are.
I do. I feel like I should be humming Matchmaker, Matchmaker or something here because this was like a match that we made. But it really did work out well.
It really did.
And because I talked to Mark by himself and I talked to Mary because this was something that I sat Mary down with because Mark had actually done an hour-long show before. So he had an idea of what it was going to take. Mary at that time was doing call-ins, live call-ins
I was.
on Morning Line.
And I still do.
And still does. But that was the length. And I'll never forget when I first sat down with her, she didn't quite have that deer in the headlights look, but she had the this ain't good. There's no, I don't think, really? You know, and that was kind of thing. I'm like, no, really, you can do this. You just have to trust me on this. You can do this. So, and then once the meeting happened, I think both of you, once you met, you knew you could do it.
Sure.
Yes, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Well, and the fun part is, you know, sometimes you need to have that real dear friend that can kind of push you outside your comfort zone. And Bonnie's
Yeah.
that person for me as far as advertising goes. She
Sure.
started me doing live radio, and I thought, well, I can probably talk for a couple minutes. You know, I'll try that and see. And that works real well. And so then she had to, this hour-long show, it took a little more prodding. You know, she kept saying, you know, really, we need to do this. And so finally I just went with it and I said, you know what, we'll just give it a try. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But let's just go for it. And so I was so excited that when we met, that you were willing to come back
Yeah.
and help me do the show. And it's just been a fun ride.
It has.
And, you know, Bonnie's one of my dear friends. She knows that I just love her to death, but she really has really brought me a long way as far as advertising, taught me a lot, and is one to, you know, make me look outside the box and do things that are kind of not normal.
And the really great thing is that this show was needed because there was
Yeah.
like this vacuum between when Home Repairs and Solutions was first on the air. And see, I laugh about it because I used to run the board
Yeah,
for
she
Home
did.
Repairs
Oh,
and
yes.
Solutions. I used to sit
Absolutely.
where Rob Evans was sitting.
Okay.
And that's how, and every once in a while, with all of my knowledge of Home Repairs and Solutions, I would chime in.
Sure, you would, yeah.
Well, I'm sure you had a question or two at least once in a while.
I gave a solution. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that the solutions were always good ones, but we came up with some creative answers.
Yes, we did.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I think we still do that.
We do. Yeah.
and just knew that this was a necessary show.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, being able to put two people together, who, by the way, Mary last night, being the Home Repairs and Solutions person, helped fix my blinds.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
there
see,
you
I
go.
see, I knew I was
Yeah.
putting two people together that could carry this off.
Sure.
Well, we have a caller holding this morning already. We probably should go to our phone lines.
Yes,
Good
let's
morning.
talk to
How are
Brendan.
you?
Good
how are
morning,
you?
Brendan.
I'm doing good. And I just wanted to say congratulations, first of all, on the anniversary of your show.
Thank you.
And also, hi, Bonnie Bill.
Hi,
It's been
Brendan.
a while since I last saw you. I saw you when Wayne Glenn celebrated 50 years of being on the air.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to ask, did you guys ever get a hold of anybody with Dig Ride or talk with anybody from Dig Ride?
Yes, I did.
Curious as to
I
why they would act the way they did on the building project. And also, other than that, the electricity finally got put into the ground after all the hassle we had been through. And so I'm definitely happy with the guys from Laclede Electric for the good job they did.
Well, good.
Great.
Good.
Well, I did talk to him. I had to call in locates on on a house that we just started building, and so I asked them, and they just I got no answer from them. They just acted like I was crazy, and they're just like, "Oh no, that we'll go out, we'll locate a vacant lot," and I'm like, "Well, this is the situation that happened," and so to answer your question, I really didn't get an answer out of them. They just acted like I was nuts. So I don't know. I don't. If we could find out who you talked to there, it'd probably help. But when I asked them about that and told them the situation, they're just like, Of course, I was dealing with the people that deals with this, this area, and I told them it was down in Laclede County, but they still just like, oh no, that can't be. And I'm like, well, it did. So anyway. To
Not
answer
sure
your
what
question,
happened.
not sure what happened, and they won't give me a straight answer. So,
But it sounds like he's got power now, so that's all good.
that's the main thing.
That's all
So,
good.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. So,
absolutely.
but I guess every place is different. But yeah, they just acted like I was an idiot, which I probably am.
I have a question for the both of you.
Okay.
Okay.
2 years into this show, what is the topic that you get the most? What questions? Is there one particular area when it comes to home repairs and solutions that the audience out there really wants to know about?
That's a good one.
That is a good question. There's not one that comes up repetitively over and over, I don't think.
No,
It's a lot of times it's based on the person that we have on,
The guests that you
the
have.
guests that we have on, whatever it is that they do for folks or, I don't know. We haven't had a lot that's been the same thing over and over for folks.
no, and the difference these 2 years as opposed to when I did it previously,
Way back when,
is the fact that we do have a lot of guests on with a lot of great information.
Yeah, we do.
Which back then I may had one guest a month, if that. And so it is a little bit different than the way we used to do it. And I think it's great because the guests that we have on are so informative. And whether they're in the electrical, like the gentleman we had on last week with Maverick, or flooring, or just you guys with the heating and air, when we do a heating and air show, the information is so good. People, and they tell us this, that we don't need to call in because you give great information. You talk about great things. Your subject's always really good and informative. And
Yeah.
so that makes it different than what it used to be.
And then my next question is, the home. I keep hearing that the housing market's getting better.
The housing market is getting better. We're definitely busier, and that's one thing we was talking about before we went on the air, is trying to get Ron, our realtor that's on quite often, try to get Ron back on, because things are picking up, and so. Yeah,
So if people are going to put their home on the market, and we were kind of talking about this last
Yes.
night, you see more signs out now. So if people are going to
Sure.
put their home on the market, what is the one thing that one or the top three things maybe when it comes to home repairs that you want to make sure it's going to help you sell your house, it's going to increase the value of your house? What are those repairs that they need to make sure that they get done?
Well, the first thing is you want good curb appeal. So if you have, if you need a little paint, or you need just the leaves cleaned up, or the shrubs trimmed, things like that, if you got siding that might be loose, or just little things like that on the outside, that is very important, because when a person drives by and they see that sign there in the yard and they look at that house, you want them to say, oh, that's nice. I would like to see the inside. And so the curb appeal is very important. And then when you actually get a client to walk through that door, their first 20 seconds in the house is usually going to make their decision on whether they want to, think about making an offer, or they're just like completely turned off. So the main thing that we tell folks is to make sure that there's no clutter. A lot of people tend to have stacks of magazines and this, that, and the other sitting around. Clean all that up. Try to keep your kitchen clean, and the dishes and things like that. And make your beds. It's just little things. We live in a house, so we can't do all those things. But at least try to take care of the clutter. If there's any painting or anything that needs done, do your touch-ups and things like that. Vacuum. Just keep the house nice and smelling good. And then third, open the blinds, open the curtains, let the light in. I go into so many houses that it's just like a dungeon going in, because people tend to close their blinds and everything else. Open them up, let the light in. That makes a person feel better if a house is nice and bright. And there can be defects. The carpet may need replaced or this, that, and the other. But if the house is clean and bright and looks good, it goes a long way.
Yep, it does.
I see a lot more signs out now. That would
There
be
are.
That would be,
Yeah.
I guess, good for this. A good sign for the marketplace.
And especially like this weekend coming up, we're supposed to have, nice warm weather, just like a day like today. People really think about that. They want to try to get their place sold and a new one bought and moved in. School will be out here in another month or two. And so by the time you get a place sold, you get another place bought and move into that place. You want to do all that before school starts back. That's usually a goal with a lot of folks.
Sure.
And this is a busy time of the year, and we start having weather like this, it really, really picks up. And the interest rates are still good. I think, well, matter of fact, I heard on the news before we went on the air, they was talking the national average on a 30-year fixed is still like 3.5 somewhere along in there, and you can get lower rates than that here locally. And so the interest
almost
rates
free
are good.
money.
Yeah,
It's almost,
yeah.
isn't
Yeah,
it
it's
not
almost
just
free money.
amazing that we're talking about getting a mortgage at 3%
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just mind blowing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But that's also why you don't make any money on your CDs.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
That is true.
So there's always a give and take. But yeah, I would say for someone that's interested in maybe making a move, I would seriously be looking at
Yeah.
that right now.
Yeah.
Because I do think the market's picking up, and some of our contacts that we have that are in the building industry are saying that they're seeing signs
Yeah.
of things picking up and moving, and people a little more positive about
Sure.
that type of thing. And I do think the interest rates are helping a lot as well.
Right.
And I don't know how long they'll be where they're at, but
No, and there's some good programs out there too. You can find you a good lender that knows the different programs, and can there's if you want to be more in a rural area, there's some good USDA programs out there where you can still get 100% financing.
yeah, you can.
You just need somebody knowledgeable that can steer you in the right direction on those. And it's still a little tough to qualify, but it's getting better. So
Yeah, I've heard that they're starting to lose. They kind of went from one extreme to the other. They probably were a little bit too loose at one point, and then they got things too tight.
yeah,
And then it was hard for anyone to do anything. And now they're starting to loosen things up a little bit. And
Yeah.
maybe one of these days, we'll have something that's makes more
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
But-
and I think somebody asked me this yesterday. They said, it seemed like things are picking up in real estate, and is people just saying, okay, it is what it is. We're going to go ahead. There for a while, everybody was kind of waiting to see what was going to happen. We had the election and everything else, and people was kind of scared to pull the trigger, so to speak. And I think a lot of folks just realize, hey, it is what it is. We need a new house. We're going to go for it.
Well, you have to continue to live your life.
Sure, absolutely.
So that's just kind of the philosophy, that I have a lot of times. It's like, well, you can't control everything and you don't know what's going to happen next, but you still have to live your life.
Yeah,
And you do. You still have to have a roof over your head,
Sure.
and you have to have, whatever, food on the table and that type of thing. So
Yep.
I think it's a great time to start making a move if you want to do something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Our construction has really picked up. We just poured another basement, a custom house for some folks yesterday. Matter of fact, I've got, let's say, about 4 custom houses going right now. And when we talk custom, when we talk custom houses, it was $300,000 and $400,000
Yes.
houses.
Yeah.
It's not that way anymore. It's the $125,000, $130,000 house can be a custom. We have a lot of people that come to us say, "Hey, we're selling our big place. We're downsizing. We're getting close to retirement. Kids are gone. Can you build us a $130,000 house and give
Right.
us what we want?" Well, sure, we'll do our best, to do that. Still a few. We've got one going right now that's a bigger house, probably a $250,000 house. But the people's perspective on what they think is a custom has changed a little bit. They're
Yes,
not,
it has.
so-
And you can build a house like that and still have some high end
sure.
interiors in there. Like you can have your
Absolutely.
granite and you can
Yeah.
have your nice floors and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Just in a smaller home, and that's absolutely a custom home.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
And we do that on our smaller homes, just like you've been in.
Yes, I have. Uh-huh.
And so we do the granite countertops and hardwood floors. We're doing the hand scraped look now on some of our hardwoods, which is really nice. And we do a lot of tile and granite and stuff.
Well, and you
it's-
guys also do some of the neat wood ceiling stuff,
sure.
like I don't know the terminology, but like in some of the bedrooms and stuff where you have
Yeah.
it's not really raised ceiling, but you kind of do that
Yeah.
inset cut or whatever,
Sure,
and
yeah.
so those things really make it look
They do.
more expensive and high
Yeah.
end than what you typically maybe 20 years ago those houses were considered starter homes, for young families just starting out, but that's not necessarily the case
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a lot of people now planning for? Because I always find this. What is it? What do they call it? Universal design. So just in case, especially if they're downsizing, it's like we want everything on one level. We don't
Oh,
want
yeah.
stairs.
We
in the
want
house.
wider
We want wider
doors.
doors.
Sure.
We want
Yeah.
that a shower that's accessible. Do you see a lot of that now?
We do. More and more people are asking for that kind of thing. They realize that hey, we all get older, and as we get older,
Needs change.
Yeah, exactly.
I got news
And
for you.
so-
Some of those things that they do for getting older, I think just make sense.
Sure it
Yeah.
does.
I mean,
Sure it does. Especially if you don't want to have to leave your home as you get older. That we found that happen in a lot of the houses we looked at down on the lake. People would build them in their 50s or so or whatever, and not think about the long range and there's upstairs and downstairs and there's no level.
Yeah.
Well, then what happens? Like our friends, they were able to buy a house down there for that very reason. These folks had gotten older, could no longer navigate all the stairs and everything, had to sell their home.
Right.
They couldn't live in it anymore because of the layout.
Sure.
So, that's something that if I was going to build a home now, I would look at it for long term.
Sure.
And I would incorporate some of those things for down the road.
Yeah. Exactly.
either that or else a really nice elevator.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Those
are really expensive,
You're going to have
Bonnie.
to do one or the other. So
That's true. That's
I
true.
would agree.
That's true. But
Well,
you'd have to have a freight elevator, then you got to get your furniture up and down the stairs, and it just gets to be
That would be
yeah.
a pain.
Well,
Yeah.
even something as small as groceries. Now, we found this out back a few years ago when we moved into our new house in Republic that we had built, and the house we built was kind of a experiment, and we probably won't build another one like that because it was a split entry. Split entries are real popular up around St. Louis, but they've never been in this area.
Not big here, yeah.
And so we had steps that you walked up to get on the front porch. When you got in the front door, you either went upstairs to be for your
Okay.
kitchen or your bedrooms, or you
Okay.
went
Downstairs.
downstairs.
Okay.
So, things that we didn't even think about, just like going to the grocery store. It no matter if we pulled in the garage, came in through the basement, we had 2 sets of steps to go up. We just, no matter what we did, we had steps. And, we sold that house and moved to Springfield, luckily, because I wouldn't have been able to, at first, even go up and down the stairs after I had my heart surgery.
Sure.
But people don't think about things like that. At first we thought, oh, man, this is such a cool house. I love this. Well, boy, I'll tell you what, after you carry groceries up and
After
down
you
those
live in it
things,
for a while, it's different, isn't
it's
it? Yeah.
different. And those houses serve their purpose. There's,
Sure they do.
young couples and large families, they love them. But when you start getting older, and when I say getting older, I'm talking about 50 years old,
You're not
and
talking
that's
80
not
here.
old.
You're
No,
talking,
I'm
yes.
talking, 50s and 60s. People start thinking about that and how to make life just a little bit easier on you.
Sure,
So,
absolutely. Without having to tote everything up and downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
I never did want a 2-story home. I think they're gorgeous,
Mm-hmm.
but I always told Paul that I said, you are so lucky because my idea of a home has been pretty plain.
Yeah.
You know, I just like everything on one level. I don't want it so big that
Yeah.
I spend my whole life cleaning it. You know, I
Yeah,
just want it big enough
exactly.
to be comfortable to live
Yeah.
in. But I've never been one that's wanted a huge home or anything, even though we had the ability to. We could have done that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But I just never had a desire for that. That's just me.
And
Yeah.
things have simplified. And maybe it was the economy, and maybe it was, all the changes. But, on Sundays in the newspaper, they would have home plans. There was
Yes,
one section of
yes.
the newspaper that
Sure,
always have a
yeah,
home plan.
yeah.
Well, I remember like 6 years ago, you were looking at McMansion home plans.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was 4 and 5 and 6 bedrooms. And now, the average size of the home plans, you're looking at maybe 2,500 square feet
Right.
compared to 4,000 square feet.
Oh, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it's just people have changed their perspective on what it is they think they have to have.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, and a 2,500 square foot home, if it's laid out properly, is a lot of room.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a lot of space.
Sure.
And you can do some neat things like, the vaulted ceilings and stuff that make everything appear larger and feel
Sure.
more spacious. So, sure, I mean, and we saw that too, just from the heating and air side. I mean, who wants to heat and cool 4,000 square feet
Yeah.
if you're only living in 2,000 of
2,000
it?
of
Yes.
it. Exactly.
And let's be honest. Do we all actually live in 2,000 of our,
No, we don't.
I don't.
No, we don't.
I mean,
We don't.
I love the idea of a big bedroom, but quite frankly, how much time do we actually spend
Yeah.
in the bedroom?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just sleep in mine. I don't
exactly.
read. I don't watch TV. I don't do any of that stuff.
So when I built my house, I finally came to grips with the fact that really and truly, I don't need a big bedroom.
No.
I'm just not in there that often.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep. That's for sure. Well, we got a caller holding on, and we'll take that as soon as we get back from the break. Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter, and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions."
Here's news on the Ozarks News Network. The widow of a man killed in a crash east of Republic is suing the driver of the tractor-trailer involved in the crash and the company that owned the truck. Corey Grisham of Macon and another man were killed when their vehicles were crushed by the big rig as it rear-ended them on Highway 60. The Highway Patrol says the driver of the truck was driving well over the speed limit and had driven more hours than allowed by federal law. An employee of the Missouri Department of Revenue has entered a guilty plea in a $158,000 fraud scheme. 31-year-old Roselli Otto of Meadham admitted to 2 counts of mail fraud. Last month, James Brune of Springfield entered a guilty plea in the same case. And a man seriously injured in a crash south of Hollister has died. 74-year-old Virgil Miles of Omaha, Arkansas, apparently passed out at the wheel. His pickup truck hit a guardrail, plowed through some trees, and flipped over. For the Ozarks News Network, I'm Arlen Summers.
Plenty of sunshine and warmer for today, high of 68. Cloudy for tonight, low of 49. Sunny and breezy again as we start the weekend tomorrow, high of 70, low of 53 tomorrow night. Sunday will turn cloudy as we will see a shower or thunderstorm around, high of 69. More showers or thunderstorms in the area, otherwise cloudy and breezy as we start the work week on Monday, the high again near 70. I'm AccuWeather's Jason Lord.
Currently 61 degrees.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jay McFerrin, and I'm inviting you to join me on Friday, April 12th for the first of our great shows, our great trips to Branson. We're going to go to Branson and experience Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede Dinner Attraction. It's going to be great. Comedy juggling in the carriage room, and then the Dixie Stampede Dinner and Show Spectacular. Dinner and 2 shows and transportation, all for $50 per person. Hey, give me a call at 862-3751 and reserve your spot for this fantastic trip. It's going to be great.
Hi, this is Jim James. Join Diana Loftus-Wheeler and me on Saturday at 11 a.m. for Through the Grapevine on KWTO AM 560. We will discuss all things wine with local and national wine industry experts. It's fun, it's informative, and it's live from the Hilton Garden Inn. So join us at the Hilton Garden Inn or listen live on KWTO AM 560 Saturday at 11 a.m. as we discuss and taste wines from Wine Style.
The Get Prepared Expo is coming. Practical advice, affordable solutions. The biggest and best preparedness expo in the USA. Over 175 seminars and exhibits. Water, food, shelter, guns, ammo. Prepare to survive now. Meet KWTO's Vincent Finelli. Get Prepared Expo. Cowan Civic Center, Lebanon, Missouri. Saturday and Sunday, April 6th and 7th. Discount $8 passes and $15 weekend passes available now at GetPreparedExpo.com. GetPreparedExpo.com.
Woody P. Snow wonders why he can't get that wonderful feeling of accomplishment without having to accomplish anything. Let's ponder that with some coffee and more of the greatest hits of all time on the Giant 101.3.
What is this crazy rock and roll music anyway?
KTXR.
The greatest hits of all time.
Let the dancing begin.
The Giant
101.3.
Let's go!
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows." Good old Bob. Bob always helps at the hardware store, you know.
He does. Everyone needs a Bob.
That's right, they do. Everybody ought to have a Bob.
Everybody
in their
needs
life.
a Bob.
That's right. But right now, we got a caller holding on, and she's been very patient.
Yes, she has.
And so let's talk to Sharon. Go ahead, Sharon.
Hi. I really like listening to your show. 25 years ago, I was married to a general contractor in another state.
Uh-huh.
So when you're talking about building houses, you know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. But we had a lady who was a customer, and she and her husband owned the largest Oriental carpet and high-end carpet store in the city I lived in.
Mm-hmm.
And they were downsizing.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "I've had the big show box, and now I want a jewel box."
There you
And
go.
she wanted a small house, but she put top-of-the-line everything in that house. And it ended up being exactly that, a jewel box.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, you can even have like a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house, and if you put the best of everything into it, you are going to have yourself one fantastic
Sure.
home.
Yeah.
And I think people are getting very smart about using square footage now, and they're finding out with their busy lawns, it's a lot easier to take care of.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And I just wanted to say, and give you encouragement in the building business, because I've been there and I know how it is, and it is a tough business.
Yeah.
But you've got a good reputation, and that's the main thing, and you just hang in there. Okay.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much, Sharon.
Yeah,
And
that's
I really enjoy your show. You get a lot of information in it, and I like the fact that you bring in local people.
Well, thank you.
So keep it up.
Well, thanks, and thanks for listening, and we'll be on for at least another year.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Oh, well, thank you, Sharon.
Unless Bonnie pulls my contract
there
or something.
you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Bye-bye.
thank you for the call. You know, there is one thing I want to add to that, and this comes from the realtor perspective. She is right. You know, people are starting to utilize the space and put nice things and can really make a show place out of a, 1,500, 2,000 square
Sure.
foot house as
Any
opposed
size.
to 4,000.
Mhm.
The only thing that I would really be concerned about, if you're going to do that, you need to watch the area that you do it in.
Sure.
And what I'm saying is, if you build a 1,500 square foot house and you put all very top notch stuff in it, and you want to sell that house, there's a chance
That you're not gonna get your money back. Mhm.
Because we as realtors compare other properties to get our
Square footage wise.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. And we do our comps, for the area to kind of base our sales price when we go look at a house. And, unfortunately, now if you're planning on living there the rest of your life, who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. But if you're looking at it that, well, we're going to live here for a few years and we're going to sell this, you really need to think about that. You don't want to overbuild for the neighborhood.
Sure.
And that's the only place that I would caution somebody to really be careful. But like I say, if that's your last one, you're going to live there the rest of your life, well, go for it.
My philosophy on a home has always been, I always wanted in a home what was right and what we needed as a family to live there and be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived in several different places, and every place we lived was our home.
Mm-hmm.
So and it doesn't matter, and we've lived in different square footages and different things or whatever, and it really doesn't matter as long as you're happy there.
That's right. That's the main thing.
You need to, if you're looking to build a home or do something, build what makes you happy, and don't worry about what anybody else thinks about it.
Yeah.
That's always the way I felt. And all of our friends, it didn't matter where we lived or if we had, the best of everything. Our friends were still our friends, and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
The house was really not that important. It's just the fact that it felt homey to everyone, and we had a good time, and it met our family's needs at the time. So.
Yeah, and it's just like the house that you moved into not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
You made that your home.
Yes, we did.
It wasn't when you moved in. There was a lot of things that was just kind of cold and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You painted, you did things to dress it up. You made it warm, and you made it you.
I
You
did.
made it your home.
Yes, I
and
did.
that's what people they need to remember that no matter how fancy, what size, make it your home.
You're the one living there.
You're the one living there.
You're the one living there.
Absolutely. 862-9977, 1-800-375-0056. Or if you want to send us a text message, you can do that, 417-838-3192. I did get one text message.
Did you?
From our buddy Gene. He said he wanted to wish Buck and Roy happy 2-year anniversary. So,
well, we
thank
appreciate
you.
that, Gene.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Gene.
we do.
So, but it's free call from no matter where you are. So if you want to call us and let us know what you're doing this weekend or what kind of project you got going on or talk about whatever, that's why we're here.
Sure, absolutely. All of our listeners probably are aware of this by now, but we try to bring in all of local businesses and we promote, do business with people here locally and all that. And we try and bring a wide variety of people in here to answer questions and give out information and stuff. But, and I'll just throw this out there. If, we have a listener or something, if there's something specific that you need help with or that you would like for us to get an expert in that area on the show, if you'd let us know, we would find one that's local and see about getting them on the show to answer any questions you might have. So, you can participate with us that way as well. You don't have to just talk to us about what we're talking about. If there's something on your mind that you need help with or that you, some professional that you're having a hard time maybe finding that you need, give me or Mark a call or call the show here, and we'll try and track one down for you and get them on the show.
That's right.
So.
And we like to support local business, so we try to search out that local home-based business here in Southwest Missouri that can take care of you. There's a lot of big chain, so to speak, and I'll
big box stores,
big box stores and stuff. But we try to stick with the local folks. And I had one little story. I had a guy in our office come to me. Oh, it's been back a week or so ago. And he said, I need to ask you a question. I said, yeah, what's that? And he's like, my brother, is either brother or brother-in-law, needed new windows. And he said, so he had this, I won't mention the name, but he had this, come over and they bid the windows in the house. He's like, I'm just wondering, he said, if this is a little high. And I said, tell me how many windows are in the house. And it is a pretty big house. And there was 36 windows.
That is a lot of windows.
And I said, let me guess. I said, you were bid anywhere between $36,000 and $38,000 to do those windows. He's like, yeah, $38,000. How'd you know? And I'm like, well, that's what you run into. I gave him, matter of fact, I gave him John Felt's number.
Yeah.
And I said, check with some of these local people, like Baller Insulation, different
Sure.
ones.
There's
I
several
said, yeah,
local.
before you go with a huge chain that offers this lifetime warranty and this handy dandy finance plan, I said, you know, that is a little extreme. I said, but that's the way they've done it for years.
Sure.
And I
Sure.
said, I learned a long time ago that these places bid these windows anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 an opening. And I said, now there is some cases where windows cost that much. You know,
Sure,
if you
depending
have
on the size
yeah,
and the
size
and the shape
yeah,
and
you know, and all that. I said, but your normal, everyday 3050
Window,
residential window, I said, is not going to cost you that much.
No.
I said so, and that's another reason why we have local folks on, because they have to face these people in the community.
That's right.
And
well, sometimes I think if we're looking for something, it's just real easy to go maybe to a big box store, maybe because they're more visible and easier to locate
yeah.
sometimes
Oh,
than
yeah,
maybe
they are.
than a local business. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the best deal there. And
right.
So anyway, I'm excited. We've got the show. I'm excited. Bonnie finally talked me into trying it.
Yeah, I
She
am
talked to
too.
me for a long time before she convinced me, and
Yeah.
then it went together so quickly that I was almost surprised that it happened that fast. But it's been something that's been fun. It's been real educational for me as well.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot. I've been able to expand my network so that, you know, if someone has a question or needs someone, you know, I can pretty much help them out in whatever it is they're looking for. So
Yeah.
not just the heating and air side. So that makes it fun for us. You know, we do have listeners call the office once in a while and ask, you know, you had so-and-so on the show. Can I get their number? Absolutely. Sure you can. And so we're able to pass that information along and hopefully help these businesses out as
Yeah.
much as we can.
And something else that's really neat that's came out of the program is Mary's List.
Yes, Mary's List on our website,
Mm-hmm.
which is another great place to go where you can just click on there and go back and find the people that's been on the show and get more information, get their phone number, maybe listen to the show again if you missed one or just want to re-listen to something.
Sure.
So
Isn't technology fantastic?
it is. It is. It's amazing
Yeah.
the stuff we can do
Yeah.
today. So
Yeah. I just got corrected on the Buck and Roy. Gene said Porter and Dolly.
Oh,
It's not
Porter and
Buck
Dolly.
Roy. Yeah. He said Mary can't be Roy. That just ain't right. We have a good time, you know, and excuse me. That's a neat thing about being able to have done the show with you for the last couple of years. We have fun.
we do.
You know.
We do. And, you know, and it's really interesting. A lot of times I'll have people say, so do you follow a script or do you have to write a script? And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, no, me and Mark just sit down and we just visit with our guests and just like their family and
Yeah.
just kind of let the show take its course. And it seems to work out the best that way.
Yeah.
You know, if we had something scripted or something, I'm not sure we would follow it.
You know, and I tried that back, you know, years ago when I was doing the show. And, you know, I'd sit and I'd toil over it for, you know, hours thinking, what am I going to do? And I'd write stuff down and stuff. I'd get there or get in here and none of it would ever, you know, because, and I just learned a long time ago then, I don't even write anything down. It's just all whatever pops out happens. You know?
There you go. There you
Live
go.
radio.
Yeah.
But no, we, and that's what makes it interesting, you know, and the callers a lot of times for us make the topic, you know,
Sure.
for the day.
Sure
Somebody
they
will call
do.
in and ask something, and that's just really cool. And that's why we like callers, you know, to people to call in. And,
Absolutely.
yeah.
We do. We love our callers and all of our listeners. And it's really
Yep.
fun, you know, being out in the public. When I'm at the store or wherever I'm at, somewhere, I'll be talking to someone or someone will hear me talking and they'll come over and say, you're on the radio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's kind of neat. You know, you kind of develop a little bit of a personality and so it's kind of fun to have people I haven't met come up and say something to me. Or like I was checking out at Sears one day. I can't remember what I bought. I was in there doing something and I was talking to the lady and she's like, are you the Mary that's on the radio? I said, well, maybe. And she said, yeah, the home repairs and solutions lady. And I'm like, yeah, that would be me.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's really neat when people come up and just say hi and
It is.
you know, tell you that they enjoy the show. And and that's really neat.
Yeah, and it's always been, everybody makes fun of my hick lingo that I use sometimes. And so I've had a lot of people come up and say, I recognize that voice. You're on the radio. You know, I'm like, yeah, that's me. You
That'd be
know.
me.
And so, yeah, they get a kick out of some of my little sayings. I don't know where they come from, but, you know.
Well, you just learned them growing up, I guess.
I learned them growing up. That's
There you
right.
go.
My grandpa, he had a lot of neat sayings, and I picked up a lot of things I think from him. you know,
Yeah.
so-
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, my grandpa
Yeah.
did too,
Oh,
and taught me lots of things, and taught me a few things that Grandma kind of got on to him about a couple times.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
don't be teaching her that.
yeah.
But yeah,
yeah.
Grandma and Grandpa's they're a lot of fun.
Yep. They are
Lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Can teach your kids lots of things.
Yep. Yes, that's for sure. And that's the joy about being a grandpa now, because I can do that.
That's right.
Teach them all kinds of
That's right.
little things and send them home.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you
So,
go.
yep, that's right. So, hey, if you want to learn something this weekend, I'd like to invite everybody to come out to the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds for the big Spring Ag and Urban Fest that's started this morning. Matter of fact, at 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
It
this
goes
is the first year they're
first
doing
year
this.
They're doing
So
this, 9 to 5 today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And a lot of neat things you're going to see out there. They've, we have the Farm Fest, every year, which is huge. But they decided to do something geared a lot more towards maybe the urban folks around town here, and stuff that will showcase things like different types of gardening that people would do, and all kinds of different things. And there's stuff for the farm if you live out on a farm. So it's kind of like a spring farm fest.
and it's going to be a beautiful weekend.
Yes, and if you come out there, you'll probably hear just a little bit of bluegrass music, because the Greater Ozarks Bluegrass Society, we have a booth set up out there, and I'll be out there from time to time over the weekend playing a little music, and we're just going to have a good time. So, and I think it's all free from what I understand. So
Yeah, I haven't heard.
yeah,
I haven't heard that there's a charge. So
nope, I don't
that
think
might be
there is.
something.
So,
just go out and
yeah.
hang out and see what's happening at the fairgrounds.
Absolutely. So it's going to be a big time out there. So I want to invite everybody to come out there and look forward to seeing some of you. We got a caller holding on. Let's talk to Brad here in Springfield. Go ahead, Brad.
Hello. How are you doing this morning?
Good.
I called last week. Got some. A gentleman was in there by the name of Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Got his. You gave me his number. He's very informative and liked him a lot.
Good.
Real reasonable, and he's going to be doing work for myself. And I just want to pass that on. Never met the gentleman before, but you ask him any kind of questions, he knows all the answers. So it worked out real well.
Super.
Well, that's great.
And I wanted to ask you about storm doors and front doors. I'm blind, so I wrote down. I must have got the wrong number last week. But do you know anybody with storm doors or front doors?
Yeah, I think. Matter of
Yes,
fact, you had
we
a.
do. Was that John Felt?
I think that
yeah.
was John Felt is who.
Yeah, I believe I told you about John.
Either I wrote down his name or number wrong because I never got a call back from him.
Okay, it's All American Windows and Doors. Let me give you that number again, Brad, just in case we got that wrong. It's 353
353
0865.
65. All right. I thought that's what I called, but I wasn't sure. But I'll try it again.
Okay, well, good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling, Brad.
And something else Brad could do, and we encourage folks to do this quite often. Call your local hardware store, your local lumberyard, Jantz Lumber,
Yes.
Herman Lumber.
They know the local
yeah, they
businesses
know
that do those
exactly,
things. Yeah.
Exactly. Baller Insulation would be another
Yep.
good one to call for storm doors or front doors.
Sure.
So you could do that. So you have several avenues to go through. And most of the companies like that, say like Jantz, they have a list of people that they've dealt with in the area.
Yes.
And so they're going to give you good information also.
Right, and they do deal with the local companies who do those
Sure.
type of things. They
Yeah.
that can install the products and
Yeah.
stuff they sell. So
Absolutely. So feel free to do that also.
yeah, they're real good about that. If you call over there and ask them information like that, they're real good to direct you to someone who can
Yeah.
take care of that for you.
Yeah.
So
When I was with Herman's, we always kept a list, and Meeks too. When
Sure.
I worked for them back years ago, we always kept a list of our good, reputable contractors, people that we had dealt with, that we'd sent people to, and we was always really happy to give out a name and number because we knew them. We knew what kind of work they did. We trusted them. So
well, something that I did this week, I'm getting to do lots of things. Not necessarily that I want to, but that is necessary to do. So I needed to find a weed eater and a leaf blower that ran off a battery so I could actually operate them. The ones I have, you have to pull, start them, all that, and I
Sure.
just can't handle them, and they're heavy, and I
Yeah.
don't know how to mix the gas and oil, and it's just
Yeah.
it's just more complicated than I can deal with. So what I did is I went to a local place. Now, I know you can buy those in big box stores and different things like that, but I went to Vinton Supply.
Mhm, yes. Yeah.
And went over and talked to those folks and talked to Jeff over there. He's the owner now, and told him what I needed. And he was real good to direct me to what he had available, let me try them, and see if I could actually handle them, showed me how everything worked, let me, turn the leaf blower on in the store. I had to kind of be careful where I aimed it. I didn't want to blow everything off the shelves, but, and showed me how to work the weed eater and operate all that and spent quite a bit of time with me. And, I just don't know that you're going to get that type of quality service at a big box store. It's something that, someone like me who's gone in and I literally have never, ever done yard work ever. I used to mow when I was a little girl, but as far as weed eating and stuff, I've never done that. And so I needed a lot of instruction and a lot of guidance there. Yeah. And he was very kind to spend quite a bit of time with me and explain everything to me. So now I have those items, and I'm going to go home this weekend and clean up my yard.
All right. That's awesome. That's someone that we ought to think about having on the show.
We should.
We should. Because I think people, this is stuff that maybe I take for granted. I know how to change the oil in my lawnmower. I know how to sharpen my blades and what kind of maintenance needs to be done. But there's a lot of folks that don't.
Yeah, and that's something that I've never. I actually had the neighbor show me how to use my riding lawnmower last weekend because I'd have never even started it.
Right.
So, and I'm sure I'm not the only one in that situation.
No,
there are people. Things
not.
happen, and then you find yourself in a situation going, "Wow, how do I do that?"
Exactly.
Or what do I do? And so it's great to have someone local that can help you with those type of things and give you some encouragement and actually take the time to let you try things out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to purchase something, go home, and then find out I didn't know how to operate it, or I couldn't, or whatever. Yeah. And I mean, he had to go through everything as simple as, this is how you turn it on, this is how you take the battery out, this is how you charge it. I mean, went through everything with me on both of those items, and so now, and what that did is that gave me the confidence to know that I can use those and that I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to taking something off a shelf, going home with it, and hoping that I can figure it out.
Exactly. I had a similar experience back, a month or two ago. I needed a computer for our Gene and I's other radio program that we do. And I went to one of the big box stores and got really frustrated. I happened to be sitting here at the station looking out the window over at Alltech Computers right across the street. Fantastic people. They built me a computer, got what I wanted. They worked with me on it, showed me what I needed, and it was cheaper. I saved money. Yeah. And I have I can go right across the street and I can say, hey, listen, this is the issue I'm having, what I do.
Right.
And so that's another reason I prefer to deal with local businesses.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So, big weekend plan?
I'm just going to go home and try all my new yard stuff.
There you go.
On the 13th, though, I am going to do the American Heart Association 5K walk.
Oh, that'll be fun.
So I'm going to do that.
Yep. Well, I get to play music at Carthage, Missouri tonight with a group called Red Bridge. It's going to be fun. We're at the Woodsheds right off the square in Carthage. If anybody's down that direction, come and see us. And so we'd love to see you. So it's going to be a fun night.
Go to the fairgrounds.
And go to the fairgrounds this weekend. Yep, that'll be fun. Well, happy 2-year anniversary, Mary.
To you, too. It's been a great ride, and I'm looking forward to the next year. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend.
This is Home Repairs and Solutions. We're heard every Friday morning from 10 to 11 right here on AM 560 KWTO.
They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house. They'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home Repairs and Solutions.